Hello everyone and welcome back to the Crew 2 in part 85. Let's go enter race number 3 of the USB Tour next. Into the Deep is going to be a lot of fun out there to have a track layout like having a good thrill of the roller coaster. Just like Future of Speed and Vertigo by having a previous recap around at Motorflix Arena. But this will have to get down to have the full straightaway to be labeled on the forward direction to be at a left turn to go by having a good technical corners and double hairpins, and then the elevation to go up and go down by the entrance to be having a good run to be entered by the 2 by underwater. But the title itself is going to be quite good to be fun to enjoy, just like having 2 track layouts, but instead I'll have to get myself to be switched the teams into Sparrow competition. Got to admit, I'll have to be recommend and go for the Proto Alpha Mark II and the Proto Concept Sparrow competition as well to be ready up, get set, and go continue on to have the same Pavilion location to be suitable to go faster in the speed. I kinda think about Into the Deep is gonna be my own favorite event ever since I come here for the live summit event. Just only have one good speed and have a nice sound of the engine whenever you're about to go enter on the underwater tube. But more likely, this will have to get down to have a 3-lap prep work, and then the endurance will have to go full speed up ahead, and balance is more important to have a good look on the track details. Average time is 1.430 and forecast for today is sunny day. Here I go folks, 3 seconds and mark on the green.
A bit more about the amazing engineering effort behind these courses. Construction began over 5 years ago on a special permit granted by the 4 states that control the lake bed: Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan itself.
Okay, first place in the lead, check, and handling is more challenging for the Proto Alpha Mark II on Into the Deep. This is going to be a lot of fun, and the full on in to have a good running effort to have some few corners, including onto the ascended straightaway, is going to be a bit more challenging to go faster up and mark it onto the 300 miles per hour at the range. Got to go past through the checkpoint and have the hillside platform to go on the left, and here comes the double hairpin to be suitable on position. Got to keep it nice and clean, and 4.8 seconds as other racers are about to catch up onto my current position. Here goes nothing. Passing through the checkpoint, going straight away by ascend, and going descend by enter the underwater tube. Wow, this is so very awesome out there to see the Alpha Grand Prix race cars to go racing up on the underwater tube to be part on the main current sector. This is so beautiful, and the engine itself is about to give a good response to hear the roar. Time to go exit and climbing up to get there to have the final corner to be passed through on the current checkpoint. First lap is about to go clear, and momentarily to have the full straight will have to be entered on lap 2. This is so very awesome to enjoy, and momentarily to have that practice ground before the procedure in the current previous live summit event. But mortally, I bet you guys have already did this one, and that will be a very good time to go racing up to have the main part of the corners and the underwater tube itself. Just to have a good rush and feel the need for speed on the course will be embraced to go for the racing competition to find a good skilled line. But more importantly, the Alpha Mark II is still get used to it to have a good track is very more competitive to respond on the handling. So I'll have to try this again, and currently to be at lap 2.
Coming up on a particularly steep ascent. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen cars drive at quite that angle before.
Yeah, now this is a very good racetrack as a roller coaster. Just have to keep a good shape up the line and give a good feel to speed response to be handful to give a good deceleration to be passive up on the perk. But braking is much more helpful, but instead, if you're about to go for a different Alpha Grand Prix race car, then go right ahead and see how it turns out to go perfectly on Into the Deep. Let's take that final turn and go turbines to go full throttle. Right, final lap, here I come, and this is it. Warm-up is about to get practicing up soon until the endurance will have to be on the next stage. What goes up and goes down and underwater tubes is going to be a very good thrill to have a good silent effect to be having a good sound of the engine. But the outside itself will hear the engine's roar to have some good ways to have some few other opponents to go working up to have some concentration. Just only for this track, and very much more specifically to see how good you are whenever you might need to go up in the lead. So I'm gonna have to do this one more time, and here goes.
Oh, what goes up must come down. Wow, that must be one heck of a good time being in the driver's seat right now.
Alright, berry check, and apparently to keep practice until we have to get it right to do some major lineup improvement if you're about to go proceed to the next upcoming live summit as a rerun. But more importantly, I'm just really love to enjoy to have some 5 races of the USB Tour next at Motor Place Arena. So it's about to get closer, 3% left on the progression, and final stretch at the final corner to go clear at the podium. And there you have it. Warm-up challenge complete, and the total time in 4 minutes 48.230 seconds has now reaching up by Icon 3650. So I'll have to let these blue parts to go delivered to the mailbox, and that brings out to have a good warm-up in session to have a test to go skillful when using the Proto Alpha Mark II. But if possible, just have to grab any kinds of proto concept to be well specified to have a good team placement to be represent. And here it is for having a good zoom in onto the map, and very good as a highlight to be marked on the magenta. Into the deep by having a normal, and next up, endurance will have to go quick travel to be heading back onto the same pavilion. Just to be reminder, as I got everything set up with the Nitro Chemist and Vanities on the Proto Concept Sparrow competition, it's now been ready up and go max out at Pro level in 340 wheel contains with 1025 horsepower with a top speed 272 miles per hour to go fully respond on the air brake by having an active spoiler on the front. Handling is going semi-expert, and this will have to go proven up, and go full endurance will be at the ready. So I had to do my best, get shape up, and go flow reflexes to have some few corners, and elevated to go ascend up and descend down by enter the underwater tube. 3 seconds, and here I go, will be embraced to go competitive.
A bit more about the amazing engineering effort behind these courses. Construction began over 5 years ago on a special permit granted by the 4 states that control the lake bed: Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan itself.
Okay, good handling, good speed, and good respawn on the outside corner to have a suction tube to go amp up the speed and go follow up on the corners to find a good line. But more importantly, this will have to do a real challenge to have a right part of the proto concept to be represented on each motorsport teams. The first one that I just recently used to have a concept of speed racing, second currently to have the Sparrow competition to have the main part to go racing into the deep. But however, if I had to go decide to have the next 2 proto concept with the post performance and Globe Motorsport, I'll have to be reserved and make it much more recommendable to have the great equalizer we'll be using on the post performance on the proto concept is exactly to have a good ways to be embraceable to speed. So what comes up and go down straight directly to be entered at the underwater tube. Just listen to the sound, viewers. I'll have to go deaccelerate and go corner by corner when you're in the underwater tube. Alright, that's more like it. And coming back, we'll turn on the volume. Okay, by the number of laps, we'll have to go down to be on the first, and then lap number 2, we'll have to be stationed to go calculation to be on the mark. First lap clear, and moving on in lap 2 by pulling out at the turn 1 section of the corner. Turn 2 clear, now currently to have turn 3 by having a good short straightaway to go up and faster in turn 4 and 5. Okay, very good. Wonderful. And have the elevated straightaway to go clear up on standby after the tunnel to go clear up on the ground. Got to take it slow and keep a good amp up the inside corner to be on the hillside on the elevated platform. Here comes the double hairpin. Got to keep it slow and make it much more a little bit faster to have the second one to go climbing back to be on the ascent straightaway. Oh yeah, going in and heading back to the underwater tube. That's the ticket and going fully well motion. I bet other racers are still actually trying to keep up and I'm still currently to be in the lead. But the GPS will have to go fully expanded to have a good look. Almost there at the end of the second lap, then go amp up the speed to be entered at lap number 3. So far so good, clean racing is the key of success. Now going on for the checkpoint and have turn 5 to keep the section zones to go amp up on the middle section in the course. Got to hold the line and keep it steady. Bus stop clear by passing through the checkpoint and have the 2 suction zones on the right. Hold on, looks like one driver on the water. Someone else might need to go for a rescue and put it back in. Okay, looks like that should do. Closest clear, and momentarily to have a trailblazer to go calling out on the blue signal.
Coming up on a particularly steep ascent. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen cars drive at quite that angle before.
Okay, no idea how it turns out. When it comes up to go straight away, and the corner to become as an angle is a bit more tricky before coming down below to be entered on the underwater tube. But more importantly, more speed handling is going to have to take a lot of work out there to have some major attempt to practice. All I can say this was, just keep a good try effort to make it much more correction. Now, looks like the dirt lap is about to go closer up towards the end, and here comes the 4th lap momentarily, and I have a good eye on position number 8 is Bryce. Got a good eye on the Proto Concept Creators SM71, Spearmeister is in number 8. Got to keep it careful and switch it into the maintain pace to go by 1 lap plus overtake. Wait until the bus stop comes in. Okay, very good. And close as ever to have a 1 close avoidable contact to have a good inch. Got to go outside. Just stay on the last position driver. Still in the lead. And go back onto the double hairpin. Alright, very good. Now, this time it's about to go amp up the speed by having a good ascent straightaway and then the corner to go straight up onto the curb. That's more brilliant. Just had to slow down and go Q on the outside if anything else might be having some trouble in handling. Okay, let's go ascend it up and exit straight towards directly to have a good final corner to be amp up to be stopped at 65% progression. Total time is still underway by 6 minutes and 23 seconds. Okay, here comes the 5th lap. Just keep going. I still barely got this one to have a good monitor surveillance to go up and get straight forward to have a good thrill of the challenge by endurance. But I can't wait until the Great Equalizer. We'll have to take a good stage of the penultimate. We'll have to go continue on in the 4th race of the USB Tour next, and then Fire Sky will be on the grand finale. But it takes a while. It'll have to take a day by day and a progress by 2 by having one good event specific in one good track layout location. Okay, checkpoint going clear. Just make a good handling on the right, then go on the left. Pulling out the nitro, and here comes 75%.
Oh, what goes up must come down. Wow, that must be one heck of a good time being in the driver's seat right now.
Alright, overtake on Dana, and still currently in 7th place. Close call, and I have a good right both spot of the reflexes thanks to the expanded GPS is now been seen on the course. But here comes 80% progression. I'm not going to be out of the woods yet. This will go on, and the endurance will have to be embraced until the 8th and final lap will have to go calling in on standby. But speaking of which, that will bring out to have a good guess on lap 7, and here comes the lap number 8 will be considered to become as the final lap. It's getting closer, so I'll have to keep holding down the fort and the corners where I have to keep a good line amp up check to have some suction zones to go speed up on the increased pace. But here comes the change of forecast. Sunny day is about to go subsided to have some forecast to be around on the cloud skies. And there's Milton in 6th place on the Proto Concept Globe Motorsport. There it is right now, and he's going in to have the first 2 hairpins to be right back in. Only down 9% left to go for the progression, and here it comes and goes straight up to be forward and have the corner to go on the ascended to be going down by the descent. Drop down below and having one good best run time on the underwater tube. Alright, that's more like it. It's about to go closing up on the Trailblazer. This race is about to be over soon, and then the final lap will be going clear on the podium for the checker flag for the Proto Concept Spiral competition. Now for the final stretch, and here it is right now at the finish line to go clear up on the podium. Wow! It takes 9 minutes, 33.198 seconds by having 8 laps as usual to be at a good course on Into the Deep. But good as ever, $86,000 has now been earned and received to have the loop parts will be delivered directly to the mailbox at each part of the specific HQ. Amazing and very good as awesome indeed. But maybe I'll have to go one more time to have a good run on the underwater tube. But more importantly, this course itself is quite actually to becoming much more fun as a roll of a roller coaster. Got to admit, I still get used to it, and very well indeed to have a nice handling competition to have a good spiral competition on this Proto Concept as well. Built designed to have a futuristic Alpha Grand Prix racing vehicle, and well designed to have a nice active spoiler to go amp up to have an air brake response. But I'll have to do this one more time, and then this will have to get back into the center of the hub. But I can't argue with that. This corner on the underwater tube is much more fun to enjoy. Okay, here goes onto the last part of the turn and coming out to have a good exit point. Alright, that should do good enough, and that will have to take a good right spot to be heading back to the hub. Alright folks, that was a lot of fun, and more importantly to have the next race will be continue on in the Great Equalizer for the USB Tour next. But however, I'll have to go and grab a different Alpha Grand Prix race car or Formula 1 race car is going to be well tested to see how it turns out well to be racing in the Great Equalizer. As a reserve for the Proto Concept post-performance, I'll have to take a good look for the preview to have a different track layout to go for a different spot. Much more interesting and very yet important to have the normal and endurance as well. But I can't wait until Fire Sky to go for a different grand finale for the USB Tour next to have a good placement for having a last course for only 2 edition. But I can't wait, but this will have to take on the Great Equalizer very soon to have a 3 lap and full endurance as usual to go for the number of laps by 8. But it turns out to have a good straightaway to go up and have some few corners to stay on top of it to have the main corner itself will have to go down to be similar, just like you're racing on the Underwater 2 from Into the Deep. Talk about having some good technical sessions to go for some elevation, and corner itself is going to be a bit more challenging and a bit more tricky. So I'll have to wrap it up and continue on in part 86 for the USB Tour next. In the 4th race, we'll be continuing on as a penultimate stage. Thank you for enjoying watching the video in the Crew 2, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Follow me on DeepNetArt, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Patreon, Discord, and more social media platforms. Plus, membership is now open to everyone. Will join to get access for price levels a month with exclusive perks, custom emoji with my OCs, and many features to support the channel. It's the best way to help out with a super thanks as an extra, will support and grow. I'll be seeing you guys next time in the Crew 2, and I look forward to see you again at the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.